Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Roszipou, and as I promised in yesterday's video, here is my video about my biannual spread, the spread that I do for every half of the year, as well as the setup for my brand new bullet journal that is going to fill up the other half of 2023. So right now you are seeing a quick flip through. You can probably notice that my first half of the year was packed and filled with stuff, with spread, and my spread looked emptier and emptier. I talked about it more in my video that I released yesterday, my May and June plan with me. But to keep it simple, I worked as a drama teacher this year. It was a super enriching experience, but very mentally draining. So I didn't have the time for myself, didn't have time for my bullet journal. I should have probably took some time for it, but I didn't. And right now I am presenting you guys my brand new bullet journal. So as you know, as you probably noticed from the quick flip through, my journal is all cat theme. I found this very pretty bullet journal by Notebook Therapy. I think it's called Nico Journal. You guys can look it up in my description. And I really wanted to find another notebook that also had some kind of like cat theme on the cover. And I didn't find any. I noticed that mainly the bullet journal sellers, they are doing stuff with birds, even with puppies, nature, bugs, but not a lot of them have cats on it. So for this time, I thought to myself, well, maybe I could see it as a challenge. Let me go maybe on the more independent side and try to find a journal that would fit this criteria to have like a cat theme cover. And I found this very well designed book. There's a bunch of like cat breeds on it. They're all making some big stretches and everything, and you know, the killer, the cat illustration killer on this cover, there is one that is licking its own butt. And as a mature human as I am, I had to get it. So I got this notebook. Unfortunately, it is not a close to 160 GSM. I don't really remember how much GSM it was, but you could see at the beginning how thin the journal is compared to the Notebook Therapy one. I think the Notebook Therapy is a little bit less than 200 pages, and this new journal that I have is 250 pages. Like, you can really tell how much the thickness of a paper makes the whole difference. So that's gonna be the journal I'm gonna be using for the other half of the year. Obviously, it means that I won't be able to use a variety of mediums like I always like to do in my journal. I'm gonna have like to stick to the basic markers and colored pencil, maybe no watercolor, nothing flashy, no Posca pens, etc. So it's gonna be a challenge for me, and I think I'm gonna try to use more of a minimalistic approach for my next journal, because I think if there's something that kind of intimidated me the last 2 months was the fact that I couldn't keep up with my journal because I have too much stuff in it. So I think on now on, I'm just gonna reduce the amount of stuff I'm gonna ask for myself for every month. But we'll see tomorrow in my journal, my July, plan with me video. So right now I am working on my first spread of my half of the year spreads, my biannual spreads. The one that you saw me working on is a 6-month recap. I am asking myself 3 simple questions. How do I feel about me, about my work, and about my relationship? I separate those two in two different categories. So the outside category and the inside category. So outside you can see it as maybe more materialistic, and inside more of like a spiritual side of the thing. So an example that I can give you that happened this year, on the outside for my work field, I decided to apply to a second cycle degree, so like an equivalent of a master degree, in order to get my teaching license. And inside, I've been an ace at controlling my stress, feeling less anxious, especially at the end of the year. So that is some kind of an improvement that I did on myself, my stress level. And I also work on the outside of myself. So I applied to another college degree, even though I told myself I would never go back to college. So for the other and final spread of my journal, it's pretty simple. It's a planning page. So I'm looking back at all the spread that I had in my journal this year. I'm taking the one that worked and the one that didn't work, and I am doing like a little sketch of what is going to be in my next journal that just appeared right here. It's so gosh darn pretty. It also came with 3 little washi tape. The one that I'm showcasing right now is the one with all the cat pose, all the stretches, and all their little weirdness faces that I love so much. One that has some cute little arts, and the other one that is kind of like the long version of the cover of the journal. So, as every journal that I have to give it a name, and this bullet journal's name is going to be Grace. So say hi to Grace, everybody. She's really happy to be here, and just like, you know, to mimic a little bit the cover page of this journal, I am going to keep my palette towards those kind of like brown, orange-ish, and like salmon pink color. I'm really not a fan of orange in general, like the bright, big orange. Like orange, if that makes sense. But I love when they are more toned down orange, so you see a lot of them in their journal. I also found those very cute flower sticker washi tape that I had, and I thought that it would be nice. So I wrote my journal's name in cursive, and I did some thick lines, and I also not colored some lines in the letters, and I thought it would give like a nice and cool effect. And I didn't realize that I also had like a page to write my name on it. It really took me by surprise, and it made it so that like one of the pages kind of felt weird. So I just stick it together, and my obviously first spread on my journal is going to be a grid spacing cheat sheet. Now this cheat sheet is going to be super duper useful because it's from a brand that I don't know. So obviously, even though they're all dotted notebooks, they are not using the same way of like making the dots. Like all the different companies, they don't space the dots like evenly, I should say, from all the different bullet journal brand. So they are all making their own. Oh my god, I cannot speak today, gosh darn it. So it came out very useful to be making a grid spacing cheat sheet for this setup. I separated this cheat sheet in half, third, and quarters. I use different colors and different marking for the lines as well. And right next to it, we are working on an index. Just so when I open my journal, I'm looking for a specific spread that I don't know, for some reason a bubble came, and at the end of July I'm gonna be making a spread for my birthday, and I don't remember when or I put it, in between which month I put it. I don't know. It always secures me to have an index, okay? I'm a very anxious being. I need to be able to find stuff quickly, so here comes the index for this reason. And honestly, when I bought this journal with those washi tape, I just didn't know how everything would look, but I'm very, very satisfied so far with the journal. You can see a little bit of bleeding when I'm using a lot of black, but it's really, really not that bad. Like, it doesn't show at all on camera. I barely see through it. Like, if I have like a lot of contrast, I will be able to see it, but it's really not that bad. And I'm very impressed with the quality of the paper as well for the washi tape. So coming right up is my future log for the other half of the year. So once again, I really want to take like a very minimalistic approach. I don't want everything to be super bubbly with like a bunch of sparkle, even though I know you guys love the sparkles in my spread. I just want to keep it down, especially when the cover is like so busy. I don't want necessarily my journal to be as busy as the cover is. So because it's gonna be for the other half of the month, I only have to plan for 6 months. So I'm not gonna be doing a touch door in here, so I'm keeping it simple. I'm writing down all the calendars for July through December. I'm leaving myself some lines to write down any kind of special events that I don't want to miss out on when I'm going to be planning for every single month. It would probably be a nice time to mention it. I didn't mention it in yesterday's video, but I'm gonna do it right now so I don't forget. I am actually French Canadian, so my first language is French. So you see me a lot of the time using both French and English in my journal for writing like daily to daily things, or like more, I guess personal things. I'm gonna be writing them in French, but sometimes it's just easier for me to write them in English. Most of the time it's because the word in French takes like 20 letters, and for the same word, the equivalent in English, it's 3 letters. For example, the word log. Especially in this sense, because a log, like, you know, it can be like a 3 log. And in French it's like completely different anyway. So you'll see this journal is bilingual, just like me. So if you are ever wondering what I'm writing down and you want to know what it is, I guess you can ask me in the comments, but most of the time it's pretty personal, and I figured that nobody will be able to understand it. So this is why I end up translating everything. But I can tell you that the months that I wrote are in French, so it's July through December. It's pretty much it. Juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. So yeah. So that was my future log. You'll see that I'm gonna be leaving this spread empty. By recording this video, my hands were dying. And this spread is a very big spread. If you want to know more about it, you'll be able to watch my, 2023 setup video, but it's pretty much a master cleaning list where I'm writing down all the things that I want to clean up in each room and all the tasks I want to do weekly, monthly, biannually, daily, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a very big spread, so I decided to skip it, but it's going to be ready when I'm going to be recording my July plan with me. So I'll make a little stop in the flip through to show you guys what it looks like, but that's pretty much the gist of it. And because I'm gonna be reusing a lot of the spread that I had in my other journal, and you feel like I'm not explaining well a concept of a spread that you want to know more about and I didn't touch in this video, once again, feel free to go click on the card and go watch my 2023 setup video. I'm very proud of it. It looks pretty good. So right now I am working on my What in the World spread where I'm gonna be writing down like something that piqued my interest that happened during the year, that is not necessarily related to me. It could be like international news, something related to my friend, something that I did. So when I'm gonna be looking back at my journal like years and years later, I'm gonna be reading this spread, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, right, that happened in July. And on the other side, I am giving myself some challenges every month. I kind of gave up on the challenges for the last 2 months, but for example, I always have a saving challenge, so I want to be able to save this amount of money by the end of the month. And another challenge like, oh, I want to be able to run again, or I want to take back my, you know, my morning yoga routine, my skincare routine, or etc. I'm giving myself a very silly challenge and I'm trying to fulfill it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna be writing myself down cute little challenges for that. And in the middle, I just drew a little kitty playing with like a cat toy that looks like the planet Earth. And oh, again, if you couldn't tell, I have kitty paws washi tape. I drew cat paw print everywhere, so you'll see little kitties a little bit everywhere in my journal, just to reflect the general theme that this is a cat theme year. Turning the pages up, we are now working on my period tracker and my energy tracker. So my energy tracker didn't really work that well because I forgot a lot of the time to just like, you know, open up my journal and just like drew a color for every, you know, for every day. So I think what I'm gonna be doing, I still separated my columns per day, but I think what I'm gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be coloring like 7 squares in the same color. Like, okay, this week I feel like overall my week was like very medium. Oh, I felt very low energy that week, etc. So I think I'm not gonna be coloring like every little square every little day because I keep forgetting about it. And I really like the graphic. Honestly, the graphic gives me like a very good idea of like where I have the less energy and what happened and etc. And of course, for my period tracker, I feel like everybody is using like the same kind of setup, but just in case you never saw a period tracker, I'm making just a small little dot for every day of the month, and I have a personalized code for when I'm gonna be in my period. So I'm making the dot very much bigger when I'm having like heavy flows, and like a smaller one for like my medium flows. I'm doing some wave when I'm having like symptoms of my periods. I feel like as someone who menstruates, it's very important for me to keep track of those kind of things. I do have my Fitbit, but my Fitbit is very, I don't know why, it's very inaccurate, even though I'm pretty regular. Maybe I am not regular, I don't know. But it will be a nice tool for me if I ever happen to have a problem. I can just bring my journal and be like, oh yeah, by the way, here are my periods. If there is anything that changed, I'll be able to easily tell and easily notice when something is wrong. And again, I ended up the spread with some cute washi tapes, those grid ones that I really like that kind of fit like the orange brownish tone with the cute little flowers. And I just drew some very lazy cat because I felt very lazy, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna draw lazy cats because that's how I feel right now. On the next spread, it's my things too, and this time again I'm gonna be having a things to check out spread and a things to complete spread. So as a vid gamer, it's where I'm gonna be writing down my backlog. I know there's a ton of websites to you know, backlog all the games that you did, that you complete, but I don't know, I just prefer to write those things down. So those are all gonna be like the video games that I am playing at the moment, or I just gave up on it. So whenever I don't know what to play, I can just like open my journal and be like, oh yeah, I started Persona 3, maybe I should get back into it. And for things to check out, well, it's, you know, Oh, that was weird. My computer turned off, but not completely. And the recording was still happening. Maybe I have a ghost in my apartment. Anyway, ghost aside, as I was saying, my things to check out is just like stuff that people recommend me to watch or to read. More recently, I finished reading Loving Yamada-kun at level 999. It's a manga about a college student who used to play video games with their boyfriend that got dumped, and they met another guy, a pro gamer, on the same video game that they were used to play, and they fall in love. It is a super cute series if you guys are into like romance stuff but are kind of tired like me that all the new romance like manga or anime are set up in high school. And not that I like you know, I do love me some good romance, typical high school story, all lovely dovely, but sometimes I kind of wish that I could relate more to the characters, and I'm gonna say it, be less cringe. Because I feel like I've seen everything in those type of thing, and I'm just like growing bored. Anyway, so for example, this manga that I got recommended, I will be writing down in it, and if I'm done and I did read it, I'm just gonna tick it off. Next, we have my 6 cats for 2023. So in 2020, in my other bullet journal, in my 2023 setup, it was 12 cats for 2023, where I'm gonna be drawing the cats that I'm planning to put in my journal. So kind of like a way for me to practice drawings, the kitties that I want to make a team around it. And next to it, we have a random. I feel like the more I've been bullet journaling, I don't really take notes that much about my ideas, either because I just don't have time to realize them, or because I am more organized and I use other spreads to be putting those kind of things. So my brain dump is pretty small, but I'm just like running down stuff that I generally don't want to forget. Next up, we have my project tracker. Because again, if I have an idea for a video, or more specifically an illustration, a little one-shot comic book that I'm working on, not comic book, but comic project that I'm working on, this is where I'm going to be able like to track them and see where I am visually into the project. And my new spread, well, it's not really new because new for this year, my new spread that I really fond of is my then versus now spread. So pretty much I'm writing down a bunch of like themes for this spread. So for example, what is my main goal? What are my savings at? What is my current food obsession? The last movie I watched, the last book that I read, the last video game that I played. So I'm gonna be writing all of these down. And then in December, I'm gonna be comparing what was, for example, my food obsession in July versus December. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a very cute way to see how I am growing and changing, like just being more silly, I guess. I have a prompt that is a world war problem. So what is the thing that is like stressing me out like no tomorrow? And I'm gonna be looking back at it in December and I'll be like, oh, it was actually not that bad. And to finish up this setup, we have my quote shall I say, that is separating all the beginning of, well, not beginning of the year, but half of the year spread and my monthly spreads. I don't know, I feel like it's a good, like, separator. And also, if I'm just, like, scrolling through my journal, I feel like it's kind of nice to, like, stumble across a quote and it just, like, puts a smile on my face. And this time, the quote is, "No home is complete without the pity patter of a kitty feet." And let me tell you, as a mama of 2 kitties, ain't that true, though. Like, hearing my cats just go and just being super happy to see me and meowing, like, if I had a very bad day, now my day has gotten, like, 10 times better. And, you know, because we're talking about pity patters, I just decided to draw some cat toe beans to complete this spread. And we are at the end of the video. You're having my final flip through of all the spreads. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you want to be one of the first ones to see my journal plan with me video, that if everything goes accordingly to the schedule that I set up myself, you should be able to see that video tomorrow. I think you guys are really gonna like the team. It's a very cool team, I should say. And yeah, with that in mind, thank you so much again for watching. I'll catch you guys on later, and yeah, stay safe and stay pink. I'll see you guys really soon. Bye friends!